When all the latest news and rumors regarding the future of the MCU are surrounded by the shroud called the mutants, as well as where and when they're gonna appear, and in which way, I decided to turn my head to the Inhumans, particularly Black Bolt, a character who will have an impact once he arrives in the MCU, a character who will change more things than you might expect. Outside of all the species and races in the MCU, the Inhumans are yet another race of people who suffered a mutation but under different circumstances by the influence of the Terrigen Mist, something that gives those individuals their powers, or should I say help them awaken what was already in them. So far, despite expecting Ms. Marvel to be the first Inhuman to make her debut in the MCU, Marvel decided to change something about her and make her the first official mutant of the MCU through her standalone series, despite being an Inhuman in Marvel Comics.
Let me go! You have to let me go!
One particular Inhuman, however, that I want to talk about today is Blackagar Boltagon, known by a superhero named Black Bolt, who we all saw as part of the multiversal Illuminati group along with his powers. Now, I don't expect you to know that many things about the character, but the short-lived cameo of the character was more than enough proof that Marvel must be cooking something behind the scenes when the character is taken into consideration, as well as the superhuman group he belongs to, the Inhumans. I'll not dive very deep into the Inhumans, what they are or even who they are, but rather I'll try to focus on Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans in Marvel Comics, and with that in mind, let's see where this journey will take you. The Inhumans as a race made their live-action debut in the critically planned and widely ridiculed ABC series of the same name. The series premiered in 2017 and ran for a humble 8 episodes before getting cancelled, and while some fans saw potential in the series, there were many others that saw the series as one big flop, which is why I think the Inhumans were not done the justice they deserve when we take a look at just how prominent they are in the Marvel Comics, ever since they first appeared all the way to today's time.
He will learn to control his gift.
But your
He
Highness...
is my son. Someday he will be king.
And while there's no official confirmation of whether the series will continue or serve as a blueprint for Marvel to work on in the future and improve on the mistakes the series had, I personally think that it will be the MCU that will see the Inhumans appear out of nowhere, just like the mutants are about to, and then for all the members to come together and form a team, with Black Bolt as the leader of the said team and king of the Inhumans, because let's face it, no other Inhuman deserves that spot more than him. Hence the reason why he was part of the Illuminati team we saw in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Speaking of which, throughout the movie we can see Doctor Strange and America Chavez get arrested and taken to stand trial in front of an alternate reality version of the Illuminati, and on that team, Black Bolt was probably one of the biggest surprises to see after the likes of Mr. Fantastic and Professor X, of course. His powers, as we saw in a flashback, when the team killed their version of Doctor Strange, are so brutal that he's able to hit that like button from afar, just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, he's able to murder a person with just his voice, which was also his downfall when the Scarlet Witch invaded the Illuminati's headquarters and killed Black Bolt with his own voice. From the moment the movie ended, one of the biggest questions regarding the movie was whether Marvel Studios intends to bring the Inhumans to the MCU and just how efficiently the studio can do that, seeing how the live-action series turned out. The introduction of Black Bolt to the MCU was met more kindly by the fans, which opened the door for many possibilities regarding the character, and him being just one step of Marvel's way to pursue an Inhuman-centric project in the near future. A project of this type would have to take place outside of MCU's main timeline, Earth 616, however, there's little reason to believe that Marvel isn't interested in telling those kinds of stories now that the multiverse has been established.
Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
What mouth?
This doesn't mean that Marvel has moved away from bringing Anson Mount as Black Bolt back, but it's an impossible task for me that it could probably be the other way around. Whatever the case may be, according to my educated guess, I assume that Marvel is not done with the Black Bolt character, or rather a different variant of him, something that will bring in the other Inhumans, both from the royal family where he comes from, who are an elite group of Inhumans, as well as other members that belong in that group. And before I move forward with the character and the entire Inhuman race, it's worth noting that there was a rumor at Marvel that the studio is supposedly developing an Illuminati spin-off, which could also be one of the ways of how Marvel brings Black Bolt back and make him a regular character in the MCU, and not just a guest star when compared to the others. And while many of you thought you've seen the last of Anson Mount's Black Bolt, I think that there's so much more to be seen from the character, especially if we take a look at the possibilities the character has of appearing and the numerous events and places that he could appear. The changes the entire view we have on the Inhumans, the character himself, and also how things will operate once this new race becomes part of the MCU, something that I think is inevitable. Without a doubt, it's needless to say that if Doctor Strange's sequel post-credit scene is taken into consideration and where his next adventures will go, the colossally untethered movie could certainly feature the return of a still living variant of Black Bolt, one who hopefully will last long enough to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, but no, in reality, a variant of the character that will last longer than the Earth 838 version of the character the MCU already sent to the afterlife. The upcoming Avengers Secret Wars movie is a no-brainer, both because almost any character from Marvel Comics can make an appearance, but also because of just how big of an event it is and how probably all of the races and factions will be present in the war that is brewing even in the present of the MCU. Outside of the obvious choices, Black Bolt could potentially change things for the better, is probably the most popular Marvel series on the Disney Plus platform, the Loki series, and the second season that is about to release in summer 2023, a place where Black Bolt could make an appearance. That is, if the second season follows the footsteps of the first and us seeing more of the multiverse than anywhere else. Showing alternate realities, perhaps even one where Black Bolt and his Inhumans are an integrated part of everyday life on Earth. Moving on, while it might look like a long shot for any Inhumans to appear alongside Moon Knight, you'll be surprised as to how many connections the two share. While Mark Spector and his alternate identity serves an Egyptian god of the moon, Black Bolt and his Inhuman subjects historically inhabit a city on the moon's surface known as Attilan, and as a result, Khonshu is certainly aware of the Inhumans, perhaps even having a relationship with them, providing safe shelter in his secret domain. Who knows? Anything is possible, right?
If the TVA truly oversees all of time, how have I never heard of you until now?
All in all, the thing that I wanted to pinpoint regarding the character, despite not knowing close to anything about the live-action version of the character within the MCU, is that Black Bolt has an immense influence wherever he goes, and his debut in the MCU, whenever and wherever it comes, it will have a huge impact on the already established characters, as well as the events that are about to take place. So nevertheless, Black Bolt is one character that the MCU needs, and I think it's finally time for us to see him in the right spotlight in the live action and feel his presence. See you in the next video.